Welcome back to Klein's Geometry. In the last video, we looked at lesson 8-3 and looked at how to solve a right triangle, find all of the parts if you knew two side lengths. Now let's look at how would you do it if you know a side length and an angle. Consider Exhibit A at right, triangle FED. Well, the first thing I would do is I would say, okay, we need to know angle E, angle F, angle D, side ED, EF, and FD. Fill in what we know. Angle E is 90 degrees. E to D is 14, and angle F is 58 degrees. Well, working down, the first thing I'm going to look at is what I know about a right triangle, which is these acute angles are complementary. So angle D is just going to be 90 minus this 58 degree angle, because these two together are 58. So 90 minus 50 is 40. Take away 8 more, we're at 32 degrees. So I know this angle is 32 degrees. So that was nice and easy. Now we're going to use a little trig to find EF. Okay? Let's just use what we were originally given. We'll use this angle right here. And if we do that, we think about what do we have and what do we want in relation to the 58 degree angle. We have the opposite legs. We want the adjacent leg. Well, thinking SOHCAHTOA, that means we're going to use the tangent. I've got the tangent of 58 degrees equals the opposite, 14, over the adjacent leg, EF. Well, swap those two out. We know EF equals 14 over the tangent of 58 degrees. So I'll just put that into my calculator, and I'll get 14 divided by the tangent of 58 degrees. And I can see EF is about 8.75. This is an 8, so we're going to bounce it up. Now, I need to find this. This is the hypotenuse. So if I have the opposite leg, and I want the hypotenuse, so sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse, I'm going to use the sine of 58 degrees equals the opposite over the hypotenuse, FD. I'll swap those two out again. Get out my calculator. 14 divided by the sine of 58 degrees, and 16.51, this is an 8, so I'm going to bounce it up, would be the length of the hypotenuse. And there we have a solved triangle. Do the have and the want for the two you need. Remember never to use a rounded number. I wouldn't have used one of these numbers in the Pythagorean theorem because there's an error when you round, and you don't want to compound errors. So only use exact numbers in your calculations. You'll be fine. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk to you about for a minute is example 4. You're told, example 4 would be solving triangles on the coordinate plane. And all you have to do is grasp the 3 points, connect them into a triangle, and then use the distance formula, or if it's a horizontal or a vertical line, just count and see how long they are to find any length you need. And then you can use trigonometry, the inverse tangent, inverse sine, inverse cosine, to find your angle measures. Just find one that way, find the other by subtracting from 90, and you're good. Okay? So easy enough to do. That would be example 4. You can take a look at that in your book, or you can look on myhrw.com if you want a more in-depth explanation of that. Example 5 talks to you about the grade of a road. And grade just means the slope of the road. How fast is it rising compared to the horizontal sea level type of thing? And slope is just rise over run. So if you've got a road, let's say you've got this road and it's coming up like this, and they say the grade is 84%. Well, that's a pretty steep road, because 84% would be up 84 feet. For every 100 feet, it went over. And the grade of the road, if you want to find the angle it makes with a horizontal line, it's this angle here is what you're looking at. Finding an angle, you need an inverse trig function. And I noticed that this is a right angle. I have the opposite leg and the adjacent leg. So every time you need to find the grade of a road, you're going to use the inverse tangent of, you can write 84 over 100. That'll get you there. You could also write 8400, because they mean the same thing. So the inverse tangent of 84 divided by 100 is 40 degrees. Notice we just rounded to the nearest degree. And just to prove it to you, the inverse tangent of 0.84 is also 40 degrees. So, different forms of the same value aren't going to change anything. So the grade of the road, if the grade of the road is 84%, this angle it makes with a horizontal line is going to be 40 degrees. And you'll see lots of that. I'll ask you about the grade on several things. Tests, you'll see it for 3 or 4 tests. Make sure you just get it in your head. Grade means slope, and you will be fine. And you need inverse tangent to get it there. So, hope this helps, and see you in class.